Goals of today is that we would be learning what is basically class diagram, what are the different components involved in it, like the class, methods and attributes, and then we would be talking about an important thing in a class diagram, that is relationship. Okay, what is basically a class diagram? So let's say we have a big structure of a code which we have depicted like this, that this is a library class which has something like remove book to a librarian, add a librarian or something. But this is confusing and this is very difficult to comprehend what we would be doing under the hood. Okay, so to have a better picture of the structure of a system by showing its class, attributes, method and relationship, but make sure this class diagram shows you the static structure. Okay, like what are the different objects involved in it, what you would be doing. It's like you don't, like you come, it's like you take admission in a new school and the teacher is coming inside the class and showing you, see this is Siddharth, see this is Ankit, and telling you the different specification, like this is a person Siddharth who is very good in studies, this is a person Ankit who is very good in sports and all. So this is telling you the specification of it, but who would be behaving in what terms you don't really know it, just knowing the static structure of it. So if you do the same thing in a class diagram, this would look something like this, which is comparatively very easy to comprehend, and it is widely used in interviews as well in software engineering, because this is a thing which can be directly converted to code. Like if you observe, these are the attributes which shows you even the types, data types of it, as well as the methods of it. So it is a very useful UML diagram. Okay, so now let's dig deep into it. So this is what a normal class looks like, where it is divided into 3 blocks. The first block contains the name of the class as well as a type of the class if it is not a normal class. Then it has the attributes of the class, like the name of the attribute and the type of the attribute. The name of the attribute is DOB and the type of the attribute, that is an integer. The last block contains the methods and the return type. So primarily most of the times you would just need to mention the data type of the return type, but sometimes you also need to mention the data type of the parameters too, but it is a very rare case. Then let's say this is not a normal class, that is, it is not a simple class, basically it is a interface. Then how would we be doing it? Then what we do is we have 2 symbols like this and then we type as interface and then it's done. So now let's say we have something known as abstract class. So now we just remove it and then we write something as abstract, and same goes for enumeration. This is the first thing. Now the very next thing that we need to symbolize in a class is the access modifier, like who has the access of something. And let's say in a class we have a class monitor who has a different badge on his shirt. So in the same manner, let's say we have a method which is public, that it is visible to everyone else. So if we have a method as public which is visible to everyone else, what we do is we have something, a symbol like this, which is addition, like a plus symbol on it. Okay, and then we have the private method which is used for internal purposes. What is private method? That can be accessed within the class itself. So that is why we are subtracting its normal behavior. You can just think in this fashion to just remember it for a prolonged period of time. So when we have a private member, we just mention it something like this. Let's say set date of birth is a private member, so we private method, so we would just have a symbol like this. Then we have something like protected, so that is something to show off to the world. You can just remember it in this fashion. So hashtag protected, so we just use a hash on it. And the same thing goes for the attributes also. So we have these all attributes as private, we can have it, then protected, whatever be the scenario. So this is how access modifiers, the different types of classes, the methods and the attributes are shown in a class. Now let's move to the most important thing in a class diagram, that is its relationship. So what is basically association? So association you can think of is something nothing but a relationship. Okay. So now there are two ways to form a relationship in a class diagram. One is that the objects made out of it would have relationship. One is that the class itself would have some relationships. Okay. So let's discuss about class relationships first. So see, two classes have a relationship with each other. So what kind of relationship it can have? So it can have only one type of relationship, that is kind of inheritance. So there are different forms of inheritance. One is single inheritance, one is multi-level inheritance, and then we have hierarchical inheritance, then we have multiple inheritance, then we have the hybrid, which is the mix of everything. Comparatively easy to understand, so I give this as a homework. Then the very next thing, which is very much important, is how the objects made out of the class are related to everyone. And this is what my concern is, and this is what I have found a lack in understanding when I was learning all about this low level. So just for your information, there are three types of relationship in the objects, that is simple association, composition, and aggregate. And fairly I would try to make it very easy to understand and you would be able to remember it. Okay, so let us understand the very first form of object relationship, that is simple association. Simple association is nothing but I know this person. This is what is a simple association is. I know this person. Just like a student has a reference to the course class if I want to register a course in it. So this is the course. I have a reference to it. Like I just know that person. Okay. He is involved in my life at some part of my life. Same thing. Same goes for here. I just know this course thing and I can register it for you. But I don't know anything else apart of this course. Neither I need course, neither course needs me. It's just that we are related to each other. It's just that we have a relationship, that is we have a reference to it. Just no reference. Just give me a reference to my work. Na? It's just that. Now let's move on to the next form of relationship, which is aggregation relationship. So what is an aggregation relationship? Aggregation is nothing but what is aggregation? An average or something? We can say that. In the same manner, we can say a room is aggregated of chair, cupboard and table. But to remember it, you can take it as an example of a healthy relationship. In a healthy relationship, the partners can exist together, but they can exist independently also. Like they have a life of their own. In the same manner, a room has a relationship with chair, cupboard and table, but they have a life of their own and they can exist independently. Like a chair can exist independently, as well as a cupboard can also exist independently. A table can also exist independently. So this is what, like a room is aggregated of table, but it can exist independently. And obviously it is not a part or something. Okay, like a part should be what? Like someone is a part of me. That means that he can't exist without me. Same thing. This is what aggregation means. For remembering, you can just take it healthy relationship. Okay, like they both have a life of their own. Let's move on to the next type of relationship, which is composition relationship. It's like my younger brother is dependent on me. Okay, without me he can't survive. Okay, like without me can't survive in the outside world. I am the one who teaches him everything. So in the same manner, a composition relationship cannot exist independently. For example, a chair has an arm, a leg and a seat. And without the chair, this arm can't exist. And without the arm, the chair can't exist. So they both have a relationship. Like without my younger brother, my life would be incomplete. Like my brother is a part of my life. In the same manner, for my younger brother, I form a very important vital role. Without me, he can't survive. In the same manner, without the arm, this chair can't survive. And without the chair, this arm can't survive. They both don't have a life on their own. And this is shown by this symbol, and if this is an aggregation relationship, we just make this go blank. Now let's just recap everything we have learned and put it to this table. What is association? Association is relationship. So a object can be associated in how? Like a simple reference. One object can keep a reference of another object. Like a student can register a course, but he is not a part of the student. The very next one is aggregation. That is what I told, healthy relationship. Each one can exist on their own. Example is a chair. Example is a chair in a room. The chair can exist independently. They are not a part of it. Then we have the composition, where my younger brother is dependent on me and I can't live without my younger brother. So this is an example of a composition relationship. For example, a arm of a chair. Then we have the class relationship. The different forms of class relation, the relationship of a class can be only through inheritance. What are the different types? Okay, single, multi-level, hierarchical, multiple, and hybrid. So that's it, and it's all about class diagrams, and this is what you need to know. More than this is not required. Neither you would be asked a specific term about class diagram. You would be told to model something to class diagram. So you need to understand it more rather than you need to learn something by heart. Okay, understanding is more needed because there is a very rare possibility ask you what is the class, or how we can depict interface and abstract class. No, this is not expected. You would be sitting for an SD interview. You would be told to model something through class diagram. So through is there. That is why you need to understand it more. So that's it for today. Thank you and have a nice day.